Hey guys, Lemon F here, and it's time for the review of Trails of Cold Steel. I finished the game last night, and I went to bed with a terrible taste in my mouth, and I just woke up still thinking about it, and I didn't even want to record the video, honestly. I honestly didn't want to record the video. This freaking sucks, dude. This game is a masterpiece, and it still manages to freaking break me down. It's it's wild. I actually have no words for how freaking good this game is, truly. So picking up where we left off, we teleported out of the camp with the kids, and uh, we met up with the OG Class 7 at the cemetery, and we made off for the chapel, and that's where we met Thomas, who revealed his true identity. And bro's an absolute freaking goat. He's one of the Ritters. I forgot the exact name of the group. I think it's like Guy's Ritter or something. It's like a G, I think, GH. Uh, no matter. But we also learned that Gaius trained under them for the 6 months that he was away, because his homeland was attacked, and one of their members saved him and then passed his stigmata onto, or his insignia, and he basically is now a member of that group, which is sick. Like, he's way stronger than he ever was in the first or second game, and now he's way more relevant too. Um, and basically, they gave us a massive lore dump as well. I'd say the lore dump that Rose gave us rivals or gave more information than what Osborne gave us. We learned about how, the she explained the two Septarian. From the beginning, there were the two Septarian, the Arc Rouge, the Septarian of Fire, and the wielder of fierce power, and then the Lost Zem, the Septarian of the Earth, bearer of unyielding endurance, and the witches had the fire, the gnomes had the earth, and she said for the first couple centuries, everyone was awesome, they were happy, the Septarians were granting all the wishes that they wanted, and then people started getting greedy, and then they started wanting power, more power, and then next thing you know, both sides were wishing for the other side to die, and then the two Septarians went to war, they fought for 1,000 days, and pretty much destroyed the entire world, and in their last punch, or collision, um, they pretty much annihilated each other, and and then they became empty shells, which were, it turns out, those two giant, like, not ions, but like the Divine Knight statues that we saw, one on that island, and then the other one near Gaius' homeland. Those two were the original Septarians. But then they made the Septarian of Steel in that last collision, and its power was rapidly getting out of control. It was going to be way too strong. So they worked with the beasts, the magical beasts, I believe. The two of them, the holy beasts, sorry. And they tried to seal the Great One away. But it didn't work, and I believe it split into... Yeah, so essentially its physical version of itself split into 7 forms, which turned out to be the Divine Knights. And that immediately made me think, oh crap, like, I don't think we've seen all the Divine Knights yet, like all of them together at least. And then right as we were almost done talking, we realized that killing the beasts would, I believe, somehow bring it back or something. It was getting a little confusing for me. It was at like 4 in the morning that I was still playing. I couldn't quit the game. Originator Zero is a sword that they were trying to basically not make, but bring back to kill one of the holy beasts. And then Muse put it together that was OZ, and it was Milliam and Altina. They were created to be the weapons, and that's why, whichever one perfectly synchronizes with the soldat or the machines is the one that, you know, is supposed to be the weapon. So Vita shows up. She pulls up, gives us some good information, and then we hear the bell tolling, and it turns out the Black Records literally had everything like set in stone. I read it. I read all the pages, and they were even, you know, predicted everything down to the Vermilion Apocalypse, and it makes me wonder if they had the Black Records in Trails too, which I doubt. But yeah, we run out into the town. All the freaking magic knights and cryptids are spawning like crazy. People are getting bodied. The army gets dispatched, the 4th Division, Craig the Red, and they're bodying those things. We're trying to fend them off. They're like, yo, you guys gotta go to the that palace or whatever. The same place where the where Class 7 was in Trails 2 when the Valflame Palace got turned into the, you know, the big boss palace. So we pull up, and you could already tell there's gonna be a massive battle. You know, they pan out, and they show Cedric there. They show all the freaking, we see the broken down Vermilion Knight. We see Sharon there. I was like, oh my god, this sucks, dude. I was like, you gotta be kidding. And also we get the reveal that Elisa's father is still alive, and he is Lumen, which turns out to be the chief of the gnomes. And I knew his voice was familiar because it's kind of hard to forget a voice that deep pitched. It's like if Leonidas, if Leo was like wearing a mask and you'd hear his voice and then you saw him and heard his voice again without the mask, you know that's him. But I just couldn't put 2 and 2 together. That's my fault. But you could tell that some of the Ironbloods didn't want this, and it was very sad. I was like, dang, dude. Because this would literally spell the end of the world. So they set up the bell and start tolling it, and they continue the Blaze plan by ringing in the Great Twilight. The Great Twilight is the first part of it, and they pan down to underneath the villa, and we see one of the holy beasts, and then it freaking transforms the entire villa into like a giant egg cocoon type thing. I was like, holy crap, we really are in the end game now. So it begins, and everyone's like, here we go. The Black Records predicted this. It said it was going to happen. And Osborn was like, let's get on with it. Let's do this. We see Georg, we see the Stall Ritter, we see Zephyr. They're setting up their defenses for us. And I was like, Jesus, dude. So, once we, you know, we saved the girls' school they were running, getting attacked. Patrick came in clutch. We were like, can we leave the girls to you, Vita and Patrick? And they were like, sure, we got it. So they put up their barrier, and then we made our way over to the villa, and my god, that shot when you see all the Panzer soldats and everyone there, the Grawl of Erebos. I was like, Jesus, this thing's sick looking. So we gotta fight everyone, and George pulls out his freaking Aerogetlum. I'm like, wow, how long has he had that in there? But yeah, very disappointing, very depressing to see. Rose and Thomas were getting a spell prepped, and then all of Class 7 pulled up, Agate pulled up, T.O. pulled up. They were like, nah, we're with the backups here. We're gonna freaking help you guys. And then they both opened, like, it was very smart how they did it. Like, Thomas opened up a little box within the shield, and then Rose like helped keep it open. It was kind of like forcing a spot open in the shield, which was very, very smart. Big IQ. And then Rose chucked her freaking staff to Emma, and we made it in. We made it in. They were like, it's all up to you guys now. This is it. And I was like, oh boy, I'm getting the castle all over again. So we get a giant vertical drop tower, the Grawl of Erebos, and they're like, this is way bigger and way more dangerous than the Infernal Castle.
I've never felt power like this before.
Yes. It's far
And they
beyond
said a
that of the
500
Infernal
arc
Castle.
drop. I was like, holy
Pretty
crap.
big too. Could be a 500 arch
So
drop.
I'm already prepared
Yes,
for who we're gonna have
based
to
on the
fight.
Argos, I would guess that's about right.
Oh, sorry, I had to reset my camera. It was kind of fuzzy looking.
Yes, so we can live our
but
lives
yeah, they
in
start.
peace and stop them from ending the world.
They play that incredible theme.
Elisa,
The Graal's theme is pretty sick. I like it a
We
lot.
won't allow them to
I don't
succeed.
think I like it more than
no
the
matter
Vermilion
what.
Castle or the freaking Infernal
like you're
Castle,
all revved
but
up
it's
and raring
definitely
to go.
amazing.
It's a shame we couldn't get
Like
everyone in
it's
here,
definitely one of
but
the
we'll
top
just
tier
have to
ones in the
figure things
game.
out as we
It
go.
gets you super hyped. First enemies we run into,
Each of them is
McBurns
strong enough on their own.
and
It is a pleasure to meet
Burns
you.
and
Lady Anne Zenla.
sorry, I was having a brain fart. The Steel Maiden and McBurns. Those are who we ran into. And I was like, Jesus, they're pulling out the stops already.
I welcome
But Emma, Laura pulls up. She's like, I want to show you how our style has evolved from you. And then Emma's like, I'm gonna extinguish your black flames. And then Gaius pulls up, and I was like, oh yeah. So these were the three. I realized that we'd have to it'd be mandatory to have certain characters in for certain fights. We went to the fight. We beat them. Gaius, Emma, and Laura stayed back, and while we continue onwards.
No, you
And
halt.
then we head to our next fight. And it's Shirley, the Jaeger King, Crow, and Sharon. I was
Guess
like,
they
oh
made it here
god,
after all,
this
huh?
sucks. So, the three that are going to be for this one is Fee, Sarah, and of course Elisa. It only makes sense. So we get to fighting them, and then Sharon's pulling all that crap. She's like, oh, I've severed my ties with the Rhinefords. I'm the severing chains now. My contract is over. Basically, Irina was saying, once her husband comes back, you don't have to be a servant anymore. That's your contract. And I was like, shut up, Sharon. I'm gonna freaking body you and bring you back home. Your top waifu. And then, of course, we have Crow, being Crow, as usual. We beat them. I actually beat them really fast. Like, I think I popped, freaking... I popped, like, two 200 S-crafts. No, I used Yuna's sledgehammer order, and then popped two 200% S-crafts, and that pretty much freaking was all she wrote. I really didn't need much else after that. It was kind of crazy. But, those three stay back. Elisa pulls out her freaking, like, robot, her archaism she was working on, and Sharon was like, even I didn't know about that. Elisa was like, I was gonna surprise you to see how independent I've grown. And I was like, dang, dude, that's really freaking depressing. So we take off while those three hold the line. We get to our next set of enemies. Before then, we see Cedric powering up the Vermilion, and we see Altina unconscious next to him, and I'm like, oh no, buddy, we gotta get our girl back. And then we fight Milliam, Rufus, Lecter, and Claire, the Iron Bloods.
Everyone.
And I already knew that all of them didn't want to do this except for Rufus. Rufus gave his backstory, and you realize he's just a freaking psycho. Because even
course we
all
did,
the
you
other
fool.
Iron Bloods, like, freaking, also, they did an interesting four-way link, where, like, their eyes got, like, these interesting patterns, and the other Iron Bloods made it obvious that they wanted us to win. Claire was like, I know you have your reasons, so please don't hold back. And then even Lecter was like, what happened to Ash was bad enough. And now the little one's in even worse spot. If you manage to get through us, do me a favor and rescue her. I was like, dang, dude, he's actually for once being freaking sincere. All these times that we've known this dude throughout 2 and 3, this man is just slippery. Or sorry, actually 1, 2, and 3. We've known Lecter since the first game. Dude is just slippery, and he always has a mask. He's always wearing a mask. We don't know how he really is. But that was like the one time that he actually expressed his genuine emotions. And then Millie was like, dog, I'm not letting you get past. I was like, Millie, I don't want to hurt you. Like, I hate that the game made me fight her. That really pisses me off. But I mean, I guess we did fight her when we first met her. And she was very tough to beat. But yeah, I clutched up. At one point, my entire team got freaking wiped. And Reen was the last one. And I was able to buy that, the Pecky, or whatever, the medal that gave me 9,999 extra health. And he was just dodging everything, because I also had, as my sub thing, it was like the damage reduction one, up to 99% or whatever. And I was just eating hits. I was just tanking over and over. I was getting jumped, like, straight up. And I kept on tanking. But, Eustace, Machias, and Elliot held the line, and they were like, take new class 7 with you. And it only makes sense that new class 7 comes with me to face the final boss. And as we're leaving, Claire's like reaching out. She's like, oh, I'm like, dang, Claire became even more waifu material.
We need to handle things here.
But yeah, there we see how relieved they are. And even Rufus is kind of like, you know what? Since that's out of my hand now, I want to test my brother, see how strong he is, what he's capable of. So, we get ready to, we head down to the bottom, and Osborne basically gives his, evil villain monologue.
Truly inspiring.
And he basically explains that he wants to bring all the Divine Knights together and, like, combine them, I believe. That's at least what I took from it. And he wants to push humanity even further by having them withstand the curse of the Holy Beast being killed by that weapon. And they even showed like a flashback picture of the Holy Beasts. And I wonder which Trails game that's from, because I didn't recognize that from Trails 1. It definitely looks like it could have been Trails 1's art style. But we learned that they're going to kill Altina to make her into a sword. I'm like, absolutely not. That's not going to happen. And then Alberich is basically like, yeah, I used the Rhinefords so I could, have access to the freaking, their, their technology. Taking advantage of the manufacturer, the Rhinefords. And Elisa's like, oh my god, dude. It's like, yo, her dad pulled an Eisen. And then we get ready to fight. Cedric's like, hey, why don't you just wake up the beast? I was like, oh, crap. So we fight the beast. We actually bodied it fairly easily because I was able to get Kurt up to, I believe, 118% evasion. So for like the better half of the game, I was really never getting hit as Kurt. Like, it was kind of funny. There were certain abilities that were like guaranteed hits, I guess, but for the most part, Kurt was just permanently evading. And I gave him the whatchamacallit, so that
we need to keep it at bay until we have the chance to call in our trump card.
when his counterattacks are like 600% stronger, they hit way harder. It's pretty OP, if I'm being honest. I felt like I was kind of exploiting, because where I was just, all I had to do was put insight on him, buff strength, and every time they'd attack him, he'd counter and just chunk the freaking health bar. And obviously I had to put on Sledgehammer as well so he could, melt through their shield. Their guard, I mean. But we managed to beat it. Again, Reen came in clutch because of my insane health and, abilities, passives going on. We beat it, and it went into its second phase. We beat it, and then we called in Valimar. Valimar came in with 4 soldats, and he broke the shield. And while we were powering up, they were like, we can feel Altina, and also we can feel Ash too. Ash was able to get rescued by Aurelia's squad, and I was very happy. And even Crow started to realize something. He remembered the Vermilion Apocalypse fight, and then the freaking beast, the Holy Beast, went into its second phase. And I'll tell you what, dude, that phase was sick. It looked awesome. The freaking flaming eyes on its body, it definitely looks leagues better than the Vermilion Apocalypse. And they were playing like a different version of the it was interesting because, like, I believe they were playing an alternate version of the, I don't know what I was saying just now, but I believe at one point we were hearing, like, another remix of Crow's theme, Blue Destiny, while we were fighting. But, right as we beat the Holy Beast, Viscount Arcade, Olivert, and Toval pulled up on the, they pulled up on the freaking, whatchamacallit? The Courageous. I was gonna call it the other name. The Courageous pulls up, oh crap. And then Elise's dad detonates explosives that were inside of it. And I was like, no shot. Toval, Oliver, they all realize that they're gonna die. Oliver apologizes to Shara. Toval apologizes to Ein. And I don't think I know these characters, really. And then Arcade is like, you know, gosh, protect my daughter. And the whole thing explodes, like, straight up. I'm like, oh, crap. And even some of the enemies, even, like, a bunch of the enemies were like, whoa, they did not have to go that far. And I was surprised, Campanella, even he was like, did they really have to go that far? I was like, Jesus Christ, dog, the gnomes are, like, actually ruthless. And then poor Elise, not Elise, poor Elfin passes out. She has to watch another one of her family members get freaking killed in front of her. Vita takes off, and then she meets up with Aurelia, and it seems like those two had their own plan going on. And I was like, what the heck? Because, you know, Aurelia didn't even have really any emotion when she said, farewell, master. It's like, oh, goodbye. I was like, what the heck? It's like, does she not feel anything about this? And I was like, oh crap, dude, poor Laura. Laura fell to her knees. Everyone was like, Jesus Christ, dude. Freaking Cedric. Cedric, I was like, what's wrong with you, Cedric? And then our blade gets bit off by the beast, and we're trying to protect our students, and then the beast starts eating Valimar. I was like, holy crap. And then Cedric's about to kill freaking Altina. And I was like, no, Christ. And then Altina wakes up, and we were like, come on, wake up, Allie. And even Albert was like, I didn't expect she developed emotion to this degree. I was like, that's right, that's my daughter, bro. She freaking, there's a progression. She wakes up, summons Clump and she gets in front of the beast. And I was like, no shot, she's gonna freaking die, dude. No shot. Million comes in, freaking bodies the beast in the head, and then pushes Allie away. And she's like, you know, I'm your big sister. This is my job. She was like, we have the same specs, so I can fill the role out too. And then she does her speech and says she's gonna protect everyone. And we were like, dude, I was already tearing up. I was like, no shot. Is someone gonna come in and save her? She puts up her shield, and then the holy beast claws just right through it, and freaking just like straight up rends her entire body. Eustace was. We catch Milliam, and we see that there's no way she's gonna survive that. And she was like, yay, I did it. And I was like, yeah, you protected me. She clutched up, dude. Our first daughter freaking dies right in our hands, dude. And I think this hurts way more than Crow. If I'm being honest, I didn't feel too terrible about Crow. Like, I didn't cry. Like, I straight up cried for Milliam. Crows, I was extremely sad, and I was like, dude, you know, I was thinking what could have been, but Milliam, I was like, dude, like, she technically isn't human, yet she was the most human out of all of us, and she literally lived with no regrets, dog, which is just wild. She was a fantastic character. I was like, oh my freaking god. She turns into the originator, Zero Sword, and Rain loses control of his power, and he goes like full, just like with Mick Burns, his eyes, everything goes red. And I was like, oh no, even Valimar transforms, and it was very disturbing. And then he immediately cut off the beast's arm, and I knew that this is what Osborn wanted. Because remember, they said they needed to kill the beast to start the Twilight, and they couldn't do it unless Milliam or Altina died. And It fell right into their hand. And I tried to hold back. I tried not to fight, but it doesn't give you the option not to fight. And we have to kill it. And when we kill it, it begins. Beginning of the end, and Ring's going crazy. He's slashing it, no mercy. Everyone's like, stop. But it's too late, dog. And we kill the beast, and then the entire country gets infected. All of Erebonia gets infected. And it's like violence. A wave of violence gets, washed over everyone. Everyone gets extremely freaking violent. And their hatred and anger spawns more of the flowers. And I was like, oh my god, dude, this really is the end of the world. And we realize that we've lost completely. And I was like, dude, this is so terrible. Like, this is so freaking bad. And in our rage mode, once we beat the Holy Beast, we go towards Osborne. And then Crow remembers everything. And he jumps down. And I'm like, oh, I already saw what was happening. All of our dead characters who came back to life, who have Divine Knights, jump off, and they summon their Divine Knights.
This outcome was inevitable.
And I was like, oh crap, this is it. This is what they wanted. The first part of the Phantasmal phase, the Phantasmal plan, was to enact the Twilight, and that's what we did. And now it's time for the next step, which is getting all of the Divine Knights together. But I was like, even still, that's only 4 of them, right? And then, they put us in they kind of hold us still. They knock the sword out of our hands. Steel Maiden catches the sword. She's like, you still have a ways yet to go. Basically saying, Reed, you can't control yourself. You're kind of pathetic. And it is kind of embarrassing to see him do this in front of all these incredible warriors. But at the same time, I would have done the same thing. It was Million, dog. Anyone would do that for Million. And then Cedric powers up the freaking Testarossa. So now we have 5 out of the 7. And I was like, oh no, dude, oh no. And then Osborne summons his Ishmelga. I was like, what? He has one too? And I'm like, oh my god. So the Ebon Knight is summoned. And then they're like, so that's your master. And I was like, what do you mean that's your guys' master? It's like, is this Divine Knight the one in charge? What's happening? So... And even McBurns is like, there's something that can utterly overpower me. And then I was like, dude, this is 6 out of 7. Where's the 7th? Rufus is like, now the 6 are assembled. And for the final one, like, dude, this couldn't go any worse, man. Freaking Osborne wakes us up. We're like, what have I done? Like, Ring straight up just ended the world, essentially. And he freaking Osborne Itachi's us. He lifts us up by our neck. And then he's like, let us begin. Together we shall write the end to this wretched fairy tale in ink black as despair. Then it fades to black. And that's the end of the game. And I was like, no shot. No shot. And then we get this little scene at the very end, the very, very end. Thus marks the beginning of the Flame's end. Despair washes over the Empire, the continent, the world, so this confirms that the entire world is infected. But don't lose hope, even in darkness, flashes of light remain. In every heart, every pair of joined hands, and in the eyes fixed firmly on the future. Rest for now, then rise once more to see this wretched fairy tale through to the end, to be continued. So we see Valimar essentially like tangled up. It looks like he's bound somehow. I don't know what's happening there. I'm guessing we'll get to see what's going on in Trails 4. By the way, I have not started Trails 4 yet because I just wanted to get my thoughts out. This was depressing. This was very, very depressing. I can only imagine how the people who had to play this game as it came out felt. Because, like, imagine having to wait years for the next one. I don't know when Trails 4 came out. I mean, I guess I could check right now, but that is one of the best cliffhangers. I think it's better than Trail to Cold Steel's 2 cliffhanger. But, like, dude, what? What's gonna happen this time? Like, there's no way this is gonna be like Trails 2, where everyone got saved last minute. We completely lost. Okay, let's see. Trails of Cold Steel 3 came out 2020. Oh wow. It's fairly recent. And then Trails of Cold Steel 4 came out 2021. Wow, only a year. I mean, but still having to wait a year after that cliffhanger still must have been painful. I don't know, guys. I actually don't have really any predictions of like what's going to happen for Trails 4. I really don't know. I'm conflicted. I'm mad that Milliam is dead. I think maybe we might have to have some type of time travel somehow. Seeing that everything is set in stone with the Black Records, and it's obvious that, you know, we're trying to basically change fate. That's what they've been, you know, talking about pretty much the entire game. Changing fate. You know, we've been set on this linear route that cannot be averted, and, you know, trying to steer off of it doesn't do anything. So, you know, might as well just let what's in the Black Records come to fruition. And it seems like we'll probably end up having to, like, time travel. That's what I'd like to see. Like, I literally don't even care if they pull, like, a time travel crap and, you know, save Milliam of all of them. Like, dude, I can only imagine how freaking Altina's gonna feel, dude. Because she jumped in front. She was ready to sacrifice herself. Oh my god, dude, I hate this. And, like, a bunch of the Stall Ritter, like, there were a bunch of characters who were like, dude, we shouldn't have done this. This is bad. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to immediately start playing Trails 4 after I'm done with this video. This is depressing. I don't know how to feel. Yep. It's kind of funny because I bought Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6 just came out. I was supposed to be playing it, but I got so absorbed in Trails again. I've been kind of neglecting it. So I'll definitely start playing Street Fighter 6 again. But man, Trails has been a fantastic ride. The fact that I guess the fourth one is the last one is just wild. I'm going to be so empty when I finish this game. When I have nothing else, I'm literally just going to be empty inside, and it's going to be so sad. But I definitely do hope we do some type of time travel. But yeah, thanks to everybody who tuned in. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm depressed. Rest in peace, Milliam. I'm glad that Altina is alive, but at what cost? I would have preferred that we take the hit and die to protect them. And you know that's gonna mess up Reen so bad, dude. Another Class 7 member dead. Yeah.